Learning a technique is more powerful than learning a tool because the tool may or may not be there for you, but a technique you can always count on. In this live coding session, we're going to continue exploring how to build an interface, how to parse the output of Xcode for augmented coding without blowing the context window. In this session, we're going to focus on the failure case. And we're live. Welcome to the Quality Coding live stream. I am your host, John Reed. I maintain the website Quality Coding, and you can find me here. You can find my book here. It's still relevant. Surprise! I wasn't sure it would be. With me in the house today is Mudshark and Mr. William Wake. Good to have you. We'll see, a couple other folks are here. Maybe some other folks will join. Let's get into it. We are taking a slight break from actual development of the game Mastermind to work on improving our tooling to support augmented coding. And let's see, last time, what did we learn? Went down a rabbit hole, reset and try again. It'll do something different. So that's a learning about watching your genie just go in a spiral, in a death spiral. And what do? Give it a kick. Maybe say something a little different. Maybe just try again. Because it's non-deterministic, take advantage of that. May still get failure output smaller with more post-processing. This was Bill's nice idea. We're essentially, I want to continue here. We'll come back to this. Really helpful to have an awk to have awk experience on hand. That was you, Bill. To improve our awk. In the end, awk was much simpler than grep. More efficient too, to do it in one pass instead of multiple passes. And this is an interesting new learning, is that if you have something that can take dictation, and these days there are a lot of tools out there, I happen to be using one now, we have shifted or are shifting from purely coding in Xcode like this, in an IDE, and typing essentially to most speakers of English, gibberish. It's Darmok at Jalad. It's Darmok. I mixed up my metaphors. Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. It's nonsense, but by switching to prompting, the input is English. So guess what? We can now talk to our computers much more easily than just typing stuff. So that's what I want to continue. Now, this is what we're working on. Shaka and the walls fell. Shaka when the walls fell. I should watch that again. Such a good episode. We are essentially, it struck me that what we're doing by building this script to do our testing for us, running Xcode build, but saving the output in a temporary file and then parsing it well, the if statement knows if it's failed or succeeded, but by parsing it, we can get some more useful information out of it. I had the thought yesterday that we are building a poor man's MCP server. I just read that there are at least 2 MCP model context protocol. Server is a kind of a funny word for it, but I suppose I've yet to set one up and try it. But I suppose that's what it is. You set it up and it just sits there and takes prompts. It's essentially, as I understand it, something that turns language into actual invocations to a thing, and then takes the output to that thing and turns it back into language. And there are 2 different ones I saw for Xcode out there. One is here. Let me find it. I've got. Is this the right one? This looks like it. So this is comparing, I think it was this one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the right one. It's somewhere way down here. Now I'm not seeing it, but there's like one that is focused, that is very small and is focused just on like building and running tests, which sounds really nice. The other one sounds much more around things like run this on the simulator, which is frankly hard to do from outside of Xcode. Take snapshots and stuff like that. Much more, I don't know, hands-on, fiddly stuff, and potentially interesting, potentially worth exploring. The nice thing about poor man's MCP is that it works without having an MCP interface. And I actually used this technique on Friday at work. I have a special commit script at work to make sure that I commit only within a certain folder, and we have a lot of pre-commit hooks. And guess what happens? The output fills up, whether you're successful or whether it's a failure. And I thought, wait, I can use the same trick to just capture the output in the temporary output, have an if statement, have it clean up the temporary output, and report stuff. And it's working. So Bill's idea, all that to say, Bill's idea from last time was, can we simplify the failure even more? Because especially with TDD, we do see things fail. And sometimes things just fail because you screw up. And it would be nice to have that be optimized a little bit. Oh man, I haven't watched Tron. I'm not particularly interested in seeing the new one. Oh, MCP is the master control something program? Is that what it was? So let's work on this. Let's see what we can do to trim down the output of failures. Now, the thing I want to be careful of is not to over trim. We don't want to be over. I'd rather have stuff in there that's not a failure than trim too much and exclude valuable information. So let's just start simple, maybe with a failing test, or maybe we should just take the output. I don't know. And which of the things I think I want to continue to work on. Wait, yes, bash scripts. These are rules. These are the processes. Follow this process. We saw the starter character go by. I have sometimes not seen the starter character. Oh, did I blink out for a bit? I have sometimes seen the starter character not take. It's been refreshing for me to live in a state where, let's see, I'm getting far fewer comments because of this. Important, do not comment code even if comments are already present, which is very clever phrasing that Llewellyn and probably Lotta came up with. One of the things that Lotta talks about in her extensive talk that I'm still going through is that even when you have stuff in your agent, mark agent.md, the base rules, the ground rules, I think she called them, it doesn't always follow them. It doesn't always follow them. And so sometimes you still need to give it a kick. And I have a simple process for committing, and it, doggone, it misses the starter character a lot. Hey, Johannes. Welcome. So now that we're using the correct process, we want to come here. And let's tell it what we want to do and see what it does. And don't type, John. It's habit. Instead, I'll use the dictation thing and think about, like, what do I want to tell it to do? Let's optimize the failure case by reducing the output if there's any test failure or build failure. Start by introducing a failing test case and running the build and test script. All right, what's this? Nice. It just fails. Accept that. And it is, looks like it's off and running. There we go. Here's part of the problem then. We have all this stuff, don't care about. All the success stuff, don't care about. What is it doing? I think it just got rid of the intentional failure. I'm still catching up to this thing. Hang on. I want to review. We've got before the tests run. A lot of tests. There are not a lot of tests. This is not a big project. There's a bunch of gobbledygook here. There's a bunch of build stuff. There's all the passing tests. I'd like to get rid of those. And this is only looking at Xcode, which is probably easier than looking at straight Xcode. Xcode build output. Hang on a second. All right. Let's see what it did over here. Showing only failure details. First off, it's using grep. And it doesn't look like it optimized anything. I'd kind of like to be able to see it myself. But it's a little hard in this tiny, tiny terminal window. Maybe this will help. It's still kind of tired. Moves this terminal session to the terminal tab in your IDE. Cascade will still be able to use it. I don't know what that looks like. Huh. Never seen this. Okay, so it looks... showing only failure details. So that's a failure. Is it all failures? Absolutely not. I'm reluctant to move forward with this. Maybe we can do the opposite and say trim out. Maybe do something. Yeah, let's reject this. Reject. Hopefully we should be back at clean. Nope. Not quite. Is it still printing all output, then the grep stuff? Possibly. No, looks like it is taking the output, piping it through Xcode. I kind of wonder about this. Do we need this? I think so, because the Xcode output is so much better for tests. So let's continue to use that. That was the only failure I introduced, and it would be nice to have different ones. I want to reject this. In fact, let's just start over. Starting over. Don't filter out everything but a particular failure. Instead, filter out anything that is a success. I don't know. Here's some things it's trying. It's using grep again. Introduce a test failure to test this. So now it is running the build and test script. We'll get to see it a little easier down here, I think. Well, that is shorter. It got rid of passing tests. So that's a win. So grep minus v is to exclude, thank you. Still thinking about how much better it was with awk. How much easier it was to, I think, control, especially if you're going to filter out different things, like to do it in one pass. Use awk instead of grep, like we did with the passing case. Thought the original grep seemed right. You mean the one where it was the thing with the original one where it was looking for test failures was that's going to wipe out build failures as well. And let's not optimize yet, John. Don't refactor without committing. This is an improvement, so feels like we ought to run with it. Now, I don't know if it's going to pick up the commit rules or not. I had trouble with this at work, so even though at work I'm starting to have some of this stuff. That's not a bug fix. It's an optimization. Whoop. This, don't type. Also, this wasn't a bug fix. It's a feature. Amend the commit. There we go. And I'll push it from here. Now, what else? Right. So there's the build stuff. This is where I want to be careful, not to get in the way of uh, syntax build failure. I'm also wondering about how we have two types of tests: Swift test, Xe test. Introduce a failure in Swift testing to test it. This is, stop. That's not Swift testing, that's Xe test. Okay, that's better. Hey, Razor, have you found this kind of workflow useful? In the very small amount of usage I have with LLMs, it's to ask how something could be done, then I do the change, which is a pretty valid way of working. I am leaning harder into having a style that I've learned from Lotta Kessler and Llewellyn Falco of having, and we haven't even gotten there yet, to test-driven development. We're just kind of doing TDD sort of in this raw form to improve a script. But I have found it very useful in my work until I run out of credits. Because work only gives me so many, and then I'm like, okay, then I'm done. To have it go through, have it try stuff, and I review it. So it's different. Yeah, I like the workflow you suggest, where it's like, let's plan the work together, give me some ideas, show me what to do, and then you do it. But why not have it do it? And the reason is, if you have a robust set of tests, it can run the tests. Then it won't, at least it won't break tests. You can be guaranteed of that. Will it cause other problems? Yes. That's where we become the reviewers. We become the things. It's asking me the questions when I'm normally going through a TDD workflow. Instead of me prompting, it feels like the other way around. We'll get to that someday. Let's see here. How did this go? So looks... Yes, test suite started. Thank you. Those we can definitely get rid of. Except maybe this. This shows our skipped tests, which is useful. Which could be useful. In any case, this was successful. I wonder how clever it can be if we can say, don't show this test suite started unless there's stuff in here after filtering that's a skipped test, or I don't know. I guess we'll discover it as we go. What shall we do next? I'll build failures. I think before we get start really filtering this down further, I'd like to make sure that build failures are coming through. All right, so let's the type of build failure I'm thinking about in particular is a complicated one I saw at work where I had a symbol, the same symbol in two different frameworks, and it was like, which one do I choose? Do I choose this one or do I choose that one? So it was fairly long. I don't know how to do that easily. In something where it's just a project, not a workspace. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I don't need to solve the world. Let's go to something like barf. The rest of this is Windsurf suggesting something. It wants to make it a comment. I've introduced a build failure. Let's minimize build success output and make sure we still get the failure information. And what's it doing? Whoa. Whoa, look at all this extra stuff. It's stripping out resolved source packages, building targets, write auxiliary files, generate assets, processing, something. Huh. But what happened to barf is silly. Where did it go? Did it get rid of it? It did. Let's I reintroduced the build failure. Run the tests again. How much of this? Well, it looks useful. Build failed. There's the version of XCBeautify. That might be important. Resolving package graph. Well, Not much here. And then there's all this stuff. It looks okay. That looks okay. One of the changes I made to the commit process at work that I think I'd like to make here is that I want it to ask me to confirm the message. Boy, this is long. Always ask me to confirm the commit message. All right. I don't know if it's going to pick that up. It might. Probably will, because although since it just read it not too long ago, I'm not convinced. Well, let's see what it does. It did not ask me, so I'll tell it. Cool. How are we doing? This is somewhat esoteric. And looks like I should commit the rule change as well. There we go. Do you approve of this commit message? I'll always have to get it to reread. You mean you always ask it to ask you for confirmation? Let me push this. So. I think we're in better shape. Let's now see about refactoring. This is not it. Where's our script? Oh yeah, it's at the top level. This is hard to read. It's very long. But it is a single grep line. So maybe that's okay. The grep line is quite long. Can we break it up to make it more human readable? Oh, you always have to say, I've updated the rules. I see. I kind of want it to put every one of these on a different line. What the heck? Like, what's emplaced? Is that real? put each one on a new line. And there may be stuff in here we don't need, but is it harmful? I don't know. Copying and validating. Yeah. Like, what if we have something that says, well, these should hopefully be on, well, these aren't necessarily on the start of the line, are they? Okay, it has proposed a commit message and it's asking me. So yes. This is another trick I learned from Llewellyn's talk. Why is good enough? Like, let's be lazy. No. I'd like to see what all it's getting. Like, I'm a little concerned, especially about Mudshark's worry that it's a little too generic. I'd like to see the output of everything. Can it do it clean and not use the script? And can we see that? It might be easier if I look at it myself, actually. Where do the build artifacts go? Is it in derived data? Let's assume it is. Since I'm not seeing anything in here. Let's try this. I want to take control out of the thing's hands and do it myself. Scheme is mastermind. Destination is that. And let's clear it and let's have a look. Oh, it's got an if statement. Darn it. Let's try again. Get rid of the if statement. Now let's try. Yeah, that's my concern too. I feel like if any of these matches occur somewhere else, we're in deep trouble. What I want to see is, are they on the far left of the output? Like, where are they? If oh, I wanted to beautify it. Yeah. Yep. Indents only, possibly. Or anything with multiple spaces? These are multiple spaces, but then they could be filtered by another rule. That is worrisome, though. That it's taking copy, linking. Oh. That could be. Let's try a test failure. That's a great idea. Trying to go for a simple. Xcode build does this long pause after running Swift tests to do other stuff. Where's the failure in here? It's hiding. There it is. Here's another problem. It's useful to know what test suite it's in. Doggone. This is harder than I thought, because I want more than this. It would be nice to have this and the test suite, but I don't know. The whole symbol line thing is a pretty good heuristic, though. Not sure how I feel about this whole experiment now. I'm worried about over-eager trimming. It's like, if there's a failure, I want it to show the suite. Let's try it, though. Let's try going simple. Do I revert? I revert that for sure. But do I get rid of the other ones we tried? Or go down a separate branch? Let's try another branch. I'm not a big stasher for some reason. Except this branch is at the wrong place, isn't it? Huh. Apparently don't have my get branch clean command set up. There must be an easy way to branch off of here. Can I do this? Yes. All right. In a few minutes, let's try. See how it goes. This is getting kind of long in the tooth. I'm going to start a new conversation. So let's reduce the amount of output in the failure case after the pipe to Xebutify. Eliminate any line that starts with a standard ASCII character. Let's try that much. It should also exclude opening. Not sure we need this 0 to 9. I'm going to take that out. This is confusing. This looks like a unit, and it's not. I'm going to move this. No. I think so. Don't worry about numbers. Introduce a test failure and run the script. Sorry, guys, I got carried away and missed the chat. Does that beautify thing have alternative outputs? That is an excellent question. I didn't think of that. I did not think of that. It's got some other renderers here. That is an excellent idea. Well, okay, I'm still catching up here. Sorry. Wouldn't that be useful though? My first idea was if it could generate JSON, but then you have to parse that back again. Wouldn't want to do that in Bash. This is where XCSIFT, it does output in JSON. It's just not mature enough to be useful for my project yet. John, what if this is something that needs a tool, some sort of XCBeautify even more? I'm afraid that little script let things will be half-baked and cause data loss. What if we try that newfangled MCP server for Xcode build, for Xcode, and try the simpler one? Maybe this whole experiment is useful because it led us to that question. I am curious what this looks like. XCBeautify. Let's try this for a second. It's still a lot of stuff. So it's just, but it marked something different. It's got some different, look at that. Now that might be useful. Here's a warning. Here is a notice, skipped with the full name, not the beautified name. Hey, this could do it. And that's not a bad thing. I think this is worth trying more. The renderer. Let's introduce a failure. I expect it will be like error or failure, like : somewhere back. There we go. There's the format. : error, a location. Oh, I think this is worth doing. In fact, let me just hang on for a few extra minutes here. Let's do this. I think this is worthy. There's like : error, : We'll just strip it down to anything that's : shall we? Let's go back to main, and I'm going to undo those last changes. Panic, everyone. Sorry, family. This is my one moment of quiet respite in a house that is overrun with grandchildren right now. Before I forget, next week I will be off. But let's do it. Let's just do this real quick. Let's come back here. You know what? I doubt that anyone has grabbed this and will mind a force push. And how do I shoot? Forgetting. I'm forgetting. Let's remember, we don't need AI to make us stupid. I want to reset back to here. Just say so. And let's do wipe out all that stuff. Okay. Overtime. Follow the process. Use let's start with that. This flag prefixes anything interesting with filter output to lines that start with : I think we've got a winner. Introduce a test failure to test this. Now I expect we'll see a few more things besides the test failure, but that it will be only useful stuff. I wiped derived data, so it's probably going through and doing all that. But note that it is silent. That's the whole point. Okay, Good. We've got warning. We've got skipped tests. We've got the error with full information about what file it's in, which is super useful. I didn't want to just have the name of the test because sometimes you have tests with the same name in different test suites. This is it. Man. Hellraiser, I think you're the winner today. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I don't have the fear, right? I don't have the fear. Commit. Remember to ask me to check the commit message. Just being cautious there. Wow. It did it all wrong. So this thing, in spite of having a rule that has a model decision where the rule is named commit messages, it's not picking it up. It's not a bug fix. This is not a bug fix. It's a feature. And it's slightly risky. It's not about GitHub Actions. It's not about GitHub Actions. That's good enough. What did it do? All right. We can get rid of this branch, and then let's wrap it up. So much better. Retro time. What did we learn? What did we realize? Sometimes you got to try things in order to, like, you got to iterate. It's really helpful to iterate on something to get new ideas. What else? Rely on Xcode. No. What we used render to make it to simplify filtering. Use a branch to test different ideas. Whoop. It's messed up. Come on. Use a branch to test different ideas. Lotta Kessler uses, has her genies actually not use a branch, but shove the stuff inside of a folder that is explicitly excluded from gitignore, and say, don't check any of this in, but play around. was hard to see big output in a small box like looking through a straw. Yeah. Testing the console output, yeah, in the end it was so much easier to come here, wasn't it? Seeing big output was easier in terminal, not small box in Windsurf. My dictation is failing. No, it didn't. Cool. Did we have anything else that there are and this might be worth experimenting with. There are MCP interfaces to Xcode that we haven't tried yet. All right. Thank you, folks. I will be out next week. So no stream next week. Come back in 2 weeks and you can shoot me a note and say, shall we try the MCP interfaces? Or I'm really eager also to show you the TDD workflow that is possible with these process files. So we might do that instead. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for everything. I appreciate you folks so much. And now back to the family chaos. I'll see you later.